Christmas, everyone. Guess who's back? DJ Atomica here with the whole cast and crew of Transporter and... Wait, guys, I thought we were doing something Christmassy today. We're just analyzing stuff. Again.
Bro, I think you know as well as we do that this isn't our fault. Transporter decides what we talk about, and you know what the results are, right? It's no wonder he's not getting thousands of views for each upload anymore.
It's kind of sad, really. No wonder Max and I have been absent for the longest time.
You're telling me? You'd think he'd realize his many mistakes.
Will you lot just shut up? Shut up!
Dude,
It's all right, buddy.
brah.
We're just yanking your chain. Anywho, now that yours truly and his cool co-host are back with the rest of the gang, boy, do we have some awesome plans in store for the future. Heck, we even get to host an awards show. First things first, though, today we're going to talk about, well, racing games.
Because what else is there to talk about, am I right?
Oh, but this is important. You see, next year's going to be pretty pivotal because there's going to be a ton of new racing games coming. Important ones, too. These games push the envelope of quality and performance of most gaming consoles and PC gaming rigs. I mean, just look at this one here, right? It's incredibly detailed, free-flowing, and I'm forgetting something, aren't I?
Yeah, you're forgetting the fact that the game you see here is a mobile racer.
Wait, what? This is for your
This
phone?
is way too detailed to be a mobile racer.
Better believe it. Next year, 3 new mobile racing games are coming, and they are the most detailed and in-depth by far. CarX Street, Racing Master, and Need for Speed Mobile, or Zeal, or whatever they decide to officially call it.
Yeah, since we left, we've been watching a bunch of videos that you've been uploading, and we haven't seen a lot of CarX Street on here. That game has expanded a lot, hasn't it?
I keep telling him to post some more, but he either just forgets or doesn't listen. Anywho, yes, CarX Street has expanded by a lot. In fact, they just came out with an update that introduces more cars, more ways to earn cars and cash, and a bunch of other things. Even before that, though, the CarX guys have expanded the map to include Mountain Drive, which includes more miles of road and more races and events. As of currently, CarX Street has the biggest map of any mobile racing game out there. Isn't that mind-boggling?
Mind-boggling? More like hand-sizzling. As in, do you know how hot your phone or iPad gets after playing this game? I mean, I play a lot of NFS No Limits and Assoluto racing, and they don't cook my freaking hands after 2 hours.
Max has a point. I mean, where is that game now? Past version 1, right? As good as it is, you'd think the CarX guys would optimize their game a little better so that it doesn't heat up devices so much.
There's also another problem. Although, to be fair, it's not really a problem, at least in my eyes. In their latest update, they introduced another realism mechanic that sort of changed the physics of the cars in the game. Tire wear. Now the cars handle a little bit more realistically, and tire wear makes the cars lose grip over time, which kind of makes sense because this game already has a fuel mechanic, right? Why not add a tire wear mechanic? Or even an engine oil mechanic? The only big drawback to this is that I'm afraid it might get close to a pay-to-play situation. It's not bad now. Plus, they just adjusted the price of new tyres and such so they don't cost as much, but who's to say they won't add more realistic things just to drive up the prices? I mean, at this point I'm inclined to say that this game is kind of frugal, meaning you don't have to spend that much money just to beat it. At least, that's how I feel where I'm at in the story mode campaign right now.
There are still a lot of ways to earn silver and gold in the game, so you don't have to pay much for things. But yeah, if you want to finish the game quickly, you'll probably have to pay cash for gold or silver. There are even items in the shops that can only be bought with gold. So not so much pay to play, at least for now, but more pay to win.
I mean, despite those things, guys, you have to admit, this game looks really, really good on an iPhone or Android device. The graphics, the visual, Japan-like open world, the cars...
Wait, Atomica, you know what's strange? Like, how have they gotten away with real-looking cars minus the manufacturer logo and or name, while that one game in Roblox is being hit with cease and desist letters, copyright infringement cases? Like, how are these CarX guys doing this?
Aren't they based in Russia?
Oh, that's why.
Well, there you go.
Right then. To sum up, good-looking game, awesome-looking cars, pretty in-depth customization, somewhat frugal, but we hope it doesn't turn into a pay-to-play. Though right now it's a pay-to-win. And also, when is it coming to the PC? Age-old question. I know, but get to it, CarX. Anywho, our next future mobile racer is Racing Master. Now, Transporter, you've been playing this game extensively. I mean, there's already a beta version of the game out in China, but a global version of the game just finished its closed beta. And it's been confirmed that it truly is coming out next year for mobile devices, and get this, also to PC. Does CarX Street have a chance against this one?
More likely, yes. Racing Master, even in this beta version, has been optimized so that it doesn't burn your fingers all that quickly. But moreover, they feature real-world cars with real logos and names, real locations, incredible photorealistic detail, and crazy customization.
Isn't this just Grid but with more pop?
Now that you mention it, the Chicago and San Francisco courses in this game, they're straight from Grid, aren't they?
They are. The studio that developed this game, Dahua Studios, is owned under NetEase Games, and they have been collaborating with Codemasters to help deliver this racing game to us. So, other than the feeling that this might be a mix of a Gran Turismo and Forza, this game also features a good amount of Grid as well, in terms of Grid 2 like physics, and Grid courses as we've just seen.
Yeah, but people aren't too fond of the physics of Grid 2, so I don't know how they'll feel about the physics of this game. I mean, it's mostly drifty, right?
Not mostly drifty. You can definitely full-on grip corners in this game, and it's not a simple flick and drift like in Grid 2. There's certainly a lot more simulation involved, like situations where gripping corners is much faster than drifting through them.
I don't know. I think I'll have to try it out for myself. When is this game coming out again?
It should be next year, at least most of us are certain. The game's pretty much in its final stages. All we need now is a release date.
Yeah, from the look of things, there are a lot of cars that are in the China beta that weren't in the CBT you played, so they have to add those, as well as extra body kits and customizable options for cars that didn't have any, right? Speaking of which, how many cars will there be when it finally releases?
There's going to be a lot of them, and earning them will be easier than getting blueprints for cars in NFS No Limits or Asphalt 8 and 9. In fact, earning new cars will be a bit like CSR Racing 2, where you can pull new ones via the Expo lot, and they come in different rarities. The Audi S5 and Volvo V60 Polestar are common, uncommon cars. The Nissan GT-R, Dodge Challenger Hellcat, and Dodge Viper SRT10 are epic cars, and the Ferrari F8 Tributo, Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution 3, Honda NSX Type R, and Honda S2000 are legendary cars. Each and every car will be fully customizable both physically and visually, though legendary cars have a bit of an advantage thanks to improved performance.
I'll admit, having this much customization with real-world car manufacturers is amazing. And seeing that these manufacturers even approve of these creations, I might have some work cut out for me when it comes out.
All right. To sum up, Racing Master built in Guangzhou, photorealistic cars, Grid 2-like physics, but awesome Simcade racing, incredible quality and design flow, outright CarX thrasher, and best mobile racing game of all time? I mean, I agree with all of you. This game looks very pretty, but we've got one more racing game that uses a powerful gaming engine, but is still feasible for our mobile phones. What's even more interesting is that it's from a franchise we all know and love, Need for Speed.
Dude, Transporter, when are you going to invite us to all of these closed beta tests that you keep getting invited to?
I'm just a special kind of guy.
I don't buy
For a
that.
damn second.
That's rich.
Anyway, Need for Speed Mobile, or Zeal, or whatever they'll end up with when it finally releases, is a mobile racing game we've featured on the channel before. It's being developed by TiMi Studios out in Shenzhen, China, and uses Unreal Engine 4. Which is why the cars and detail of the game look like a bit of a step up from the Frostbite engine games that we're used to. NFSMobile takes place in Heat Bay, an evolution of Palm City from Ghost Games' Need for Speed Heat. Most of the city's iconic streets, buildings and areas are taken straight from Heat, with some sizable changes here and there. For example, out west, where there used to be more country field and windy roads like Fort Lauderdale, there's now more desert and spring lilies. Heck, there's even a playground with a giant loop-the-loop of which you can take at maximum speed in any car in the game.
Speaking of cars, weren't there supposed to be, like, 30-plus cars that you could drive in this last beta?
It did seem as if they were keeping most of the cars from us in this beta that finished. For example, the cars that we had access to in this beta were the Ford Focus RS, Subaru BRZ, Porsche 718 Spyder GTS, Lamborghini Gallardo LP 650-4 Spyder, Audi RS e-tron GT and Ferrari LaFerrari, to name a few. We also have access to the BMW M5, Dodge Challenger SRT Demon, and Ford F-150 Raptor, but they're for police use only, and we'll get to that later. However, we do know that this game will feature a Jeep Wrangler, McLaren 720S Spider, McLaren P1, McLaren F1, Porsche 911, 992 GT3, and even the legendary most wanted BMW M3 E46 GTR.
So even this new game couldn't resist adding the legendary most wanted hero. Why would they keep all of these cars from this beta?
It's still very puzzling, to be honest.
I, for one, would have loved to see that 992 Porsche in action. I mean, it's the new 911 with a wide body. I'd love to see what that looks like.
Maybe in a future closed beta when it comes to the States, and they add more content.
All right, so what does this game entail? Is it the same story as NFS Heat, or is it something completely different?
Similar in some ways, but it's completely different mostly. Once you enter Heat Bay, you meet a fellow racer named Vera, who shows you the ropes of how to navigate the city and how to race and win. You'll also come across Williams, Heat Bay police captain, and head of the high-speed task force, Eric, head of the Pro Racing League, Bruce, a league racing rival, Sonny, master of odd jobs, Bubbledog, master of vehicular chaos, and many more as you progress through the game and the story. The end goal is becoming the best racer in all of Heat Bay, as well as climbing up the online rankings. Corrupt police? Day/night differences in police brutality? They're not here. At least not yet.
Speaking of police,
Yes, this time around you get to be the police in this game. NFSMobile is comprised of different online matches. There's regular ranked and unranked racing, as well as Hot Pursuit, where you can race and earn enough heat as a racer, or bust other racers as the police. It's a bit like NFS Rivals, except there's a definitive time limit to how much heat you can earn or what police rank you accumulate. As a racer, you have access to your entire garage as well as weapons to fight off police that most of you should be familiar with. As a cop, you only have access to the BMW M5, but as you level up, you'll be able to choose from the Dodge Challenger Demon, Ford F-150 Raptor, or Ford GT, as well as extra weapons needed to subdue criminals. Heck, you can even venture across town quickly in your very own police chopper.
Piloting a helicopter in a Need for Speed game is still definitely a first.
What's also a first, though, is that this is the first NFSMobile game with a completely open world, right?
Not entirely. This is indeed the first for mobile devices, but in actuality it's the second. The first was back in 2012 when Criterion Games' Need for Speed Most Wanted released for the PS Vita.
Oh, really? Well, besides that, this is still momentous, because within the No Limits community, there are many that have wanted an open-world NFS racer for mobile, and lo and behold, we're getting one. Even though they borrowed lots of things from NFS Heat, the whole cityscape looks far better than Sunset City and CarX Street.
You're layering it a bit thick there with the CarX criticism, aren't you, Max?
I mean, think about it. Wixie, Palm City was an awesome city to race in, and Heat Bay being the evolution of that looks even cooler, both during the day and at night. I do like what CarX was going for when they designed their playground, but the quality of Heat Bay is chef's kiss.
I mean, you have to admit, Sunset City could do with a bit of a touch-up here and there to rival Heat Bay.
All right. Besides all that, there's still one big question of which we all would like an answer to. When is this game coming out and where will it be available?
It's still a mystery, to be honest. There's been an expanded beta already live in China, though I don't know if it's ended or not, and a global closed beta for Australia, Canada, Indonesia, and Mexico just ended not too long ago. I think it's safe to say that the game will indeed be available next year worldwide. Hopefully.
Well, we can hope for more news as time comes, but as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, all three of these games are pushing boundaries in terms of gaming on mobile devices. CarX Street and NFSMobile are open-world racers. When was the last time we saw in-depth open-world racing games that we could play at our leisure on our iPhones and Androids? Then there's Racing Master, which looks like Forza Perfected, a detailed and fun simcade racer with lots to earn and customize. So what do you think, guys? Which of these games will be the absolute best next year?
I'm still sticking with my guns and pulling for CarX Street. It looks like a tuner's paradise, and there's a lot of fun to be had with it. As long as they fix and smoothen out all the bugs and give their community what they want and need, it'll be perfect.
Nah. Racing Master is golden. It's not an open-world racer like the other two, but it sacrifices that feature to deliver breathtaking visuals, loads of awesome cars, loads of customization, an appealing racing story, fun online matches, interesting physics, etc. This game will be the one to beat next year.
I guess that leaves me with Need for Speed, right? But seriously, from what I've seen so far, they're moving in the right direction. And you said it yourself, Max, the NFS community want an NFS-branded open-world mobile racer. And TiMi are delivering that. They gotta fix the dialogue and smoothen out a few bugs, but add the cars and give us appealing gameplay and story, along with the fact that the visuals and the open-world gameplay is there, and this game will be hard to take down.
Well, if there's one thing that we all agree on, it's that these games will be far better than one game that needs to ride off into the sunset. Asphalt 9.
Here, they're still going with that
There
game?
you have it, everyone. Gameloft, you've been put on notice, but seriously decrease your microtransactions and prices. Anywho, I hope you guys enjoyed what we offered today, as this is the future of mobile racing. There are definitely exciting things in store, and I personally cannot wait to see what we receive next in terms of updates to CarX as well as new betas for NFS and Racing Master. As always, if you liked what you saw today, leave a like on this video and subscribe to us for more. On behalf of my colleagues Stryker, Wix, Transporter, and Max, I'm DJ Atomica signing off today on Transporter FM. From our families to yours, we wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.